Why would you assume that the terms and conditions, for a specific service, are for everyone else and you are the exception? This is her story.
Dear concerned clerk.
Nothing like starting off a conversation by being condescending to the person you are seeking a favorable resolution from. Way to motivate.
I am terribly disappointed to hear that your transfer, as stipulated in your terms and conditions, will not accommodate my husband and myself for arrival pickup at CDG, even though we will comply to all of your rules.
I am pleased to see that you at least read the terms and conditions, although it is very apparent that you failed to understand them. If you were really complying with all of our rules, this would not be an issue.
We will be at CDG the 9th of August between 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
There are a tad more rules than just that one. This is called cherry picking.
You could give us the precise time and location you would want us at the airport on that day, and we could be there since I had planned to book a hotel at CDG with shuttle services for the night of the 8th.
And you can follow the rules as described and stop wasting our time. If you can take a shuttle to the airport, why can't you take a bus to the ship?
You make a doable arrangement appear impossible.
It's very possible, even easy, if you comply with all the rules that you claim you read. If you don't, you write a snotty rude email hoping to shame the company into doing what you think they should do with absolutely no knowledge or interest in the reasons why such rules exist.
I have never had a similar problem, whether in Greece, Antarctica, Moscow for a venture to the North Pole, Hong Kong for a 36-day cruise, and extensive other places that we have traveled.
With all that experience, one would think that you would have, at least, a tacit understanding of how these things work.
We are not tourists but travelers.
Based on your handling of this issue, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Over the years, we have learned to leave at least a day in advance, so we do not miss the cruise departures. Too many times we have been rebuffed due to airline problems, and this is most frustrating and hard on the heart. Is it too much to ask?
Yes, it is. Our rules are very clear in this matter.
Should you fail us in this request, please send me your ship's complete dock address and telephone number ASAP so that I can plan accordingly.
Done. This is included in my reply email and in your final documents.
We were told that we most certainly will have the use of the free transfer for our return flight on the 16th to CDG.
Yes, because you are abiding by all the rules on this one.
We were also told that we could drop our luggage off in the morning of the 9th and meander about the French ambience nearby and return to the ship at 3 p.m., at which time our cabin will be ready.
This is also true. The only caveat is that we will not be bringing you to the ship from the CDG airport.
I truly looked forward to an easy connection to the boat, but obviously, not your company. Why are things so difficult these days?
Other guests find our transfer service quite easy, but then again they are complying to the rules and not demanding special treatment.
It would be nice if you had several selections to suggest to us for hotels with different price ranges that are in the city center and only about 10 minutes away from your ship.
We're a cruise line, not a hotel company. Try looking on the interweb thingy.
It would be nice too if they had a reasonable service to transfer us there. We need to be frugal and need little fluff for a one-night stay.
Couple of points. These are issues for you or a travel agent to resolve. Also, it is obvious that you have never been to, or are in the least bit familiar with Paris. If either of these were true, you would know that the city center is not 10 minutes from where cruise ships dock. Just take a taxi, for crying out loud. It will cost about $50.
The Hong Kong YMCA is terrific and quite reasonable and had a bus service priced reasonably from the airport to our hotel's door.
I guess that you could do that, but the Hong Kong YMCA is about 5,970 miles from the ship, so you will need to plan accordingly.
Does Paris have a like service?
You are asking our cruise line to book you a room at the YMCA? How can I put this? No. Someone who has been to the North Pole can surely figure that out for themselves.
I hope you can be of good service. Thank you for a prompt reply.
This lady and her husband booked a river cruise that begins and ends in Paris. They booked their own flights, and opted to arrive in Paris a day early, in case there were flight delays. Overall, not a bad idea, but doing so, they fell outside of the cruise line's transfer policy, which stipulated that they needed to have a flight arriving on the day of departure. The reason for this is so they can schedule a group coach transfer for flights that arrive close to each other. This lady saw no reason why she could not just show up at the airport and hop on a transfer bus for free because she did not want to pay the aforementioned $60 for a taxi. In the return email, we provided her with a clear explanation of the policy, the ship's docking location, and phone number. All that she asked for and more. Her response was just as charming as the first email.
Thanks for the reply, but your explanation after mine is less than accommodating and quite colloquial.
I love when people who are too cheap to pop for a taxi try to impress me with their vocabulary.
You could have said, you would be happy to help us, and that it is doable. Just be there at arrivals the time of one of the flights that your groups is using for the 9th and schedule us in for pickup with them.
And you could just accept that you don't qualify for the complimentary transfer, and this dog just ain't gonna hunt.
But obviously, you have no clout.
Actually, I could do this. All on my own, without even asking my manager, but because you have been such a rude and obnoxious pain in my butt, I'm not gonna, because I will not reward bad behavior.
So now, we will be burdened with a haul, extra expense, and frustration.
Oh, the pain. The pain.
But that doesn't bother you, does it?
Honestly? No. Not even a little bit.
I suspect your cruise line has been using this dock and ship for some time, and that you would be more knowledgeable about its location.
Oh, I know exactly where it is. My question is, do you understand, oh worldly traveler, that the dock is not a specific location, but a series of docking locations that are assigned by the local authorities based on scheduled river traffic for a particular day? Do you also understand that it is pretty easy to find a white 150-yard long ship with its name on it with big letters?
Have you had the opportunity to cruise on this ship? What is your travel experience?
Yes. I did sail on this ship. I also arrived 5 days early, got a hotel and took public transport to the ship, which in Paris, is quite easy to do.
Please send me the precise address, which you failed to do.
I did not fail to do this. You are just too lazy to do a little research.
What are the intersecting streets? What key element is nearby? What arrondissement is it in on the right or left bank? And what quays about it for our ease or a taxi driver to find?
If you give the docking location I gave you to the taxi driver, I am very confident that he will know where it is.
This should not be too difficult for you as a customer relations clerk.
Ah. There is that rude condescension that is encouraging me to handle your concern with derision and apathy.
Also, send me your superintendent's name and email address.
Up here in the 21st century, we call her a manager.
I need this info now to decide what hotel and where I wish to be located so that it is convenient, not when we receive our tickets.
You do you, sweetheart. I did reply to her email, explaining that the docking location is not an address, and sharing my experiences in Paris. Not that she would find that of value as she is a traveler, not a tourist, and I am just a concerned clerk. Suddenly, she was all sweetness and nice, stating that now I have done a great job. She then regaled me with tales of her experiences at the YMCA in Hong Kong, her tennis match that morning, dancing with Russians, sweeping streets with locals in Nepal, and advising me that her husband presented her with a raspberry frappe champagne with a Wilbur bud, instead of a raspberry at the bottom. What the? She then threw a half-assed apology at me stating,
Sorry if I came on strong, but there are so many incapable tour clerks out there.
And, we're going to end as we began on that note. Today's lesson? 1. The terms and conditions exist for a reason. 2. When the reasons are explained, please do not assume that they are for everyone except you. 3. Being rude and acting superior does not shame people into doing what you want. The same holds true if you yell at the maitre d' because you decided to show up to a busy restaurant and have to wait. It does not inspire people to give you what you want. 4. Just take a taxi and stop wasting people's time. Share your travel stories in the comments. Please like the video, share your comments and subscribe for more.